Hey guys, welcome back to another of my F1 22 My Team Sim career videos. This is where I've entered Mitsubishi into F1 and I am simming everything as far as the driving goes, but in the background I'm still developing the car, doing all the marketing, upgrading the facilities and everything, signing the drivers, basically making all the decisions I need to make around running the team. I'm just not racing any of the races or doing any of the qualifying sessions or anything. I am simming the practice programs to make sure we get development points, but as far as any of the driving stuff, it's not happening. So last season, at the end of the season, we parted ways with Robert Schwartzman and we signed Pierre Gasly. The team is on the up. We're solidly in the mid pack now. We're not a back marker team anymore. So be interesting to see what he does. Carlos Sainz left Ferrari and he's now at Aston Martin, so that's left another vacancy at Aston Martin. Schwartzman just basically swapped with Gasly and went to AlphaTauri, and Ferrari have now lost Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in the space of 2 seasons. So Ferrari now have Vettel, who returned last year, and now Marino Sato went from Aston Martin to Ferrari. This was our livery last season and it wasn't much of an upgrade from season 2, but I wanted to make a big change. And this is our livery for the 4th season of this sim career. I'm only doing this on PlayStation, so if you want special liveries and all this sort of stuff, it's not going to happen because I just don't have the software, the capabilities to do it. So this is our team for the season. I stayed with Moon as our sponsor. I think it's just kind of the fair assumption that we're going to get 25 Constructor Championship points. We want that bonus at the end of the year. I'm still unsure as to how we're going to perform at this point, so it just seemed like a good way. We hit it with them last season. We got the points we needed, so that was what I went with for another season. Sticking with the Renault engine, obviously, because Mitsubishi is a partner of Renault. It's tied to Renault. I think Renault maybe owns Mitsubishi or something, so that's kind of why we're always going to have the Renault engine in there. Just going through, updating a bunch of facilities. We did have a regulation change to durability and powertrain. I didn't miss these parts, by the way. I got everything. I don't know why it kept saying that I did. Moving on to the performance chart, and we see there is a clear 2-tier system going on in F1, and we're at the head of the rear of that. So hopefully we can, bridge the gap to the top runners this season and really hit those developments. But let's get into season 4. So in Bahrain, Lewis Hamilton wins the first race of the season, followed by Max Verstappen and George Russell. So Mercedes looking like they've got a bit of pace coming into this season. Pierre Gasly 11th and Doohan DNF. By the way, Jack Doohan is our driver, the Australian motorcycle champion's son. I forgot to mention, but he has been he has and will be for the rest of all the seasons that we're going to do. So not the best start, no points for us in the first race of the season, but early days yet, and we'll just see how things go. So Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren is up there looking pretty pacey. Ferrari did have a bit of a dip last year. It seems to be continuing, and Alpine were about the same as them. Max Verstappen wins in Saudi Arabia, followed by George Russell and Lando Norris in 3rd in the McLaren. Those top teams are very close together, so there's going to be a bit of a mix, I assume, coming into this season. Pierre Gasly in 9th and Jack Doohan in 11th. So just on the edges of the top 10, which is kind of what we were doing last season. But this season we've got Pierre Gasly, and hopefully he can sort of match what Jack Doohan was doing, or even probably do better than what Jack Doohan was doing, because Robert Schwartzman wasn't quite making it happen as far as getting into the top 10 on a regular basis. So we're in 6th with 2 points. And as we go to the Australian GP, Max Verstappen wins again, followed by George Russell, followed by Lando Norris. I think that was the same as the last race, wasn't it? I think Lewis Hamilton was in 4th as well in that one. Pierre Gasly in 10th, so another point for the team. Jack Doohan, another DNF. 2 out of 3 races DNFing is not what we want to see, but let's hope these things improve. So we are 11th and 13th in the championship. Max Verstappen is leading, followed by George Russell, followed by Lando Norris, followed by Lewis Hamilton. Moving over to the constructors now, and we will see that Red Bull have the lead over Mercedes, only slightly, 11 points, followed by McLaren, and then Ferrari, Alpine, then us, Mitsubishi. Just a quick look at the performance chart as it's going along. Bit of a flat line for everyone. The only one that's really made a bit of progress, it looks to be, is Ferrari. So hopefully we can start seeing some upgrades coming in, but that seems to be the same for everyone. In the sprint race, George Russell wins in Imola. Well, it's not really a win, is it? Like, it's a half a win. But he gets the pole position for the race. We're 12th and 13th. And in the race, Lando Norris wins in Imola. It is his second, I think, of this career mode. George Russell is in second, Charles Leclerc third, and both Mitsubishi cars are just out of the points in 11th and 12th. So yeah, definitely in that second part of the pack there that has formed through all the regulation changes in the off season. But yeah, long season ahead. We can still make something happen. We do have points on the board, and we seem to be better than everyone else below us. We have the drivers, I think, to do it as well. In Miami, Charles Leclerc wins, followed by Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly is in 10th. Jack Doohan in 12th. Yet to score a point this season, but Pierre Gasly is kind of towing the line here while the car isn't quite up to pace. Max Verstappen leads the championship, and George Russell is in second, followed by Lando Norris. It's pretty close at the top there, 12 and 21 points separating them. Even Charles Leclerc's in the mix. Pierre Gasly is in 11th, Jack Doohan in 12th. 4 points overall for the team. And in the constructors, Red Bull lead the way now by 30 points over Mercedes, followed by McLaren, and then Ferrari is a fair way behind with Alpine. In Spain, Catalonia, George Russell wins, followed by Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton in 4th, and Pierre Gasly in 11th. Unfortunately, missing out on the points. Jack Doohan in 13th, that is. So, yeah, not looking too promising at the moment, but at least we're getting something every now and then. It is showing how close it is at the top, though, because it's any weekend, anyone could win the race. You know, we've had Norris win, George Russell's won, Lewis Hamilton's won, Leclerc's won a race. So it really is really tight at the top, and we want to be amongst it, but unfortunately right now we are just not there. So Red Bull maintains its lead in the constructors. And as we move over to the performance chart, we have made some progress. We are right there now, just behind Alpine. So hopefully we can see some results there. And we see it in the next race at Monaco, where Pierre Gasly finishes in 9th and 10th for Jack Doohan now, both getting points. Lewis Hamilton won the race. So that little performance boost has given us enough of an edge to now start challenging the Alpines. Joe finished out of the top 10, who is the other Alpine driver, next to Ocon. So Doohan moves up in the championship to 12th with that point, and we now have 7 points in total for the constructors. And we are not going to make too much progress, but that's promising. Red Bull has a 23-point lead over Mercedes, who have about the same 26, or I think it is, no, 36 over McLaren. Going to Baku, George Russell wins, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly finishes in 9th. Doohan DNFs, so not good. Verstappen DNFs as well, so that's not going to help Red Bull or Max Verstappen's title hopes. And Pierre Gasly makes a move up into 10th position in the Drivers' Championship with those couple of points. And if you missed it, George Russell is now leading the championship over Max Verstappen by 4 points. So this championship is wide open, and Mercedes have jumped Red Bull as well in the constructors, followed by McLaren. Going over to the Canadian GP, Lewis Hamilton wins and George Russell finishes in second, followed by Leclerc. Mercedes 2-1-2s in 2 races, and that is pretty daunting going into the mid part of the season. Gasly finishes in 10th and doing DNFs again. Jeez. George Russell still leads the championship over Max Verstappen by just a little bit more. Lewis Hamilton is in the mix now, along with Lando Norris. It's starting to bunch up there at the top. Not much changes for us. Still 10th and 13th with our average performances. And we are starting to claw back on Alpine slightly. Mercedes still leads over Red Bull, who leads over McLaren. And as we go to the British GP, George Russell wins another race this season, and he is followed by Lando Norris, who is followed by Lewis Hamilton. Jack Doohan in 10th. Pierre Gasly finished out of the points this time. And Lando Norris seems to be finishing like third a lot this season, it seems. So that McLaren is not slow either. Pierre Gasly maintains his 10th position in the championship. Jack Doohan moves up to 12th with that point from this race. And that is a bit of an improvement since we've had our little package upgrade, which has drawn us closer to the Alpine. So a couple more of those and we could be sort of mixing it up there with the Ferrari maybe. As we go to the performance chart, we are now ahead of Alpine. So there we go. Mitsubishi has moved ahead of Alpine. Some big upgrades. Look at this, like one and then another big upgrade a couple of races later. So we are clear of them now and hunting down the top pack. In Austria, the sprint race, George Russell wins the sprint race and will start on pole for the actual race. Pierre Gasly finishes in 9th. Jack Doohan in 11th. Coming up from 22nd, as they always do, as the sim. And in the race, Lando Norris wins over George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Pierre Gasly finishes in 10th. And doing DNFs again. Oh my God. Get it together. I think a lot of those were actually mechanical failures because I did get the little notes from the engineer post race. George Russell still leads the championship. Lando Norris is in second now in the championship, followed by Max Verstappen. Jack Doohan in 12th. Pierre Gasly in 10th. A few more points. Ahead of one of the Alpine drivers as well. And Mercedes lead the championship over Red Bull by a fair bit now, 63 points. And this is the mid-season, so we are re-signing Gasly, obviously. We're not going to... we just signed him, so obviously we're just going to go and pick him up again, continue the run. The car's not where it needs to be for him to perform yet, but we're on the way. We're definitely on the way because we are making big strides this season so far already in the performance chart. In Hungary, Lando Norris wins another race. George Russell finishes in second. Daniel Ricciardo in third. So the McLaren is starting to show some pace. Pierre Gasly in 9th. Jack Doohan in 11th. And George Russell's lead in the championship has been cut. And Lando Norris is in second. Lewis Hamilton third. Max Verstappen has dropped to 4th. Gasly 10th. Jack Doohan 12th. You can see Mick Schumacher is shaded out there because Haas got rid of him mid-season, actually. And they signed Felipe Drugovich. So, yeah, that was unexpected. I haven't seen the AI do that mid-season. In Belgium, George Russell wins. Daniel Ricciardo in second. Lando Norris in third. So that's not a mistake. That's not a one-off. McLaren have started to get some performance out of that car to challenge for wins and podiums regularly now. George Russell leads the championship. Lando Norris in second. Verstappen is in third. He moves back past Lewis Hamilton. Mitsubishi drivers are still in the same position as they were before, 10th and 12th. Not a lot going on there. Just pretty much finishing in those just in the points or just out of the points positions. Mercedes still lead the championship, and McLaren have jumped Red Bull. So as we look at the standings, they still don't have the best car, but something's going on there which is making them super competitive now. In Zandvoort, Lando Norris wins and George Russell is in second. Daniel Ricciardo is on the podium as well. So that McLaren is picking up the pace, definitely. Pierre Gasly finishes in 8th. Jack Doohan in 10th. So 2 points finishes for the team. And as we go to the driver standings, Russell is in first, but Norris is right there. And Verstappen is now a little way back. So could we be seeing a new world champion, a first-time world drivers champion in F1 this season, with George Russell and Lando Norris starting to break away from the pack? Mercedes are still in the lead, but McLaren are keeping them honest, and Red Bull is actually starting to drop away. So it might be a Mercedes-McLaren fight as we go to Monza, and Lando Norris wins another race, and Max Verstappen finishes in second. George Russell third. I think it was Hamilton in fourth. Gasly in 11th and Doohan in 13th. So no points on offer for this race. And in the championship, it has been cut to 2 points between George Russell and Lando Norris. So the fight is definitely on between the two sort of British superstars of F1, the young superstars coming up to potentially fight it out for the championship this season. Mercedes have relinquished a little bit of their lead in the constructors as well to McLaren. So McLaren are definitely on a charge here. They seem to have the car, and Norris is in spectacular form. As Mitsubishi are right there with Ferrari now. Another massive upgrade came in before Singapore, and that shows because Lando Norris wins again, by the way. Daniel Ricciardo in second. Doohan 6th, Gasly 8th. So talk about an upgrade. Definitely more points than we've ever got this season, and the McLaren is just in another ballpark at the moment. Now Lando Norris takes the lead of the championship over George Russell and Max Verstappen, and big jump for Jack Doohan as well, up to 11th, just behind Pierre Gasly. And this could be meaningful towards our fight with Alpine. Well, now starting to take the fight to Alpine because we've considerably closed the gap, as McLaren have on Mercedes in the constructors. And over to Japan, and another 1-2 for McLaren. Lando Norris wins again. Daniel Ricciardo in second, and 9th and 10th for the Mitsubishi drivers. So a double points finish again for Mitsubishi, which is what we want to see. And we're definitely making some progress throughout the course of this season. In the championship, nothing much changes for the top because Lando Norris won again, and neither for the Mitsubishi drivers. As we go over to the constructors though, it's only 10 points the difference between Mercedes and McLaren now. So McLaren are definitely on a bit of a downhill slope here compared to everyone else. They're really charging home as we jump ahead of Ferrari. So Mitsubishi are now the 4th best car in F1. And as we go to the USA, in Austin, Lando Norris wins again. Daniel Ricciardo in second. Gasly 7th. And I think it was Jack Doohan, yes, in 10th. So McLaren are knocking it out of the park the last 3 races, and so are we. I think as far as where we were at the beginning of the season and where we are now, Lando Norris has a 30-point lead over George Russell. That changed really quick, and there's only 3 races to go. So yeah, he's if Russell wants to get back in this championship, he needs to do something really quick. And McLaren also takes the lead in the Constructors' Championship over Mercedes. Just take a little quick break before we run into the end of the season. We have a rumor that the chassis regulations are going to change for next season, so look out for that. And in Mexico, Lando Norris wins the GP and Daniel Ricciardo is in second, and I think that pretty much does it for the championship. If I have a look at this now as we come up to the next screen. I said 40 points. So mathematically, George Russell could still win the championship if Lando Norris lays a big fat turd in the next couple of races, but he's looking pretty safe. And going over to the constructors now, we're going to have a look and see that McLaren are also a fairway clear, and we have closed right up on Alpine. We're only 8 points behind Alpine now, with a couple of races to go. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, Lando Norris wins the sprint race with Daniel Ricciardo in second. Unbelievable. Gasly was up there in the top 10 as well. This is a sprint race though. This is only like a qualifying session. Doing in 11th, but still 8 points. And Lando Norris wins the race as well. And Daniel Ricciardo finishes in second. And they're a fair way clear of the Mercedes now. Look at that. It's about 10 seconds they've got over the Mercedes. By the way, 7th and 8th for Mitsubishi. So doing really well. And Lando Norris has wrapped up the championship. He is a world champion with only one race to go. So we have a new world champion. Lando Norris beats George Russell to winning a world championship. That McLaren was really untouchable towards the end of the season there. And just, you can see the run they were going on. That run of first and seconds has also netted them the constructors title. They can't be beat now. Mercedes are going to have to settle for second, and it is official. There is going to be a regulation change to the chassis department, or the chassis part of the car. In Abu Dhabi, Max Verstappen wins, followed by Lewis Hamilton. Jack Doohan in 7th, Pierre Gasly in 8th. So, splitting the Ferraris and the Alpines now. Lando Norris DNFs. Not that it matters, because he already has the championship. And that's the season done. So Lando Norris wins over George Russell by 40 points, followed by Max Verstappen, followed by Lewis Hamilton. And 10th and 11th for the Mitsubishi drivers. We really clawed back we're definitely clear. Like, if you can see, like 45, 29, the next person's on 11, Zhou Guanyu. So very good effort. Mitsubishi, we also jump Alpine in the constructors just at the end there. So I'm happy with that. Considering where we started, a lot of progress made over the season, and that's something that we can definitely build on for next season and try and maybe challenge like a McLaren or a Mercedes next season for the title, seeing how we go. In the all-time stats, all-time wins, Max Verstappen moves ahead of Sebastian Vettel during the season to go to 55 wins. Lewis Hamilton sneakily just creeps away to 20 more wins than Michael Schumacher over the course of his career. Red Bull jumps ahead of Williams now, 3 wins ahead of Williams in all-time team wins. And winning streaks, Lando Norris breaks or puts himself in 3rd place with 7 wins on the trot during the season, all-time. And all-time World Drivers' Championship, not a lot changes there. We're just showing you what it is, just to remind everyone where it was sitting at. All-time World Constructors' Championships. McLaren are only 2 behind Ferrari. I actually didn't know that they were that close. I thought Ferrari were miles in front. Daniel Ricciardo retires. So the McLaren seat is now available for next season. And I thought he would have stayed after how good McLaren have been doing and all those podiums that he's getting. Going over, and we are re-signing Pierre Gasly because the team's looking promising for next season. Felipe Drogovic, this is just updating that Haas have signed him for the next season as well after getting rid of Mick Schumacher, who will be going to McLaren. Sorry, my brain was going faster than my mouth could keep up. Yeah, he's going to McLaren. And as we look at the performance chart, we're right there. We're with them all now. So next season should be interesting. We've got a fight at the top there, and we're amongst it. So that's the video for today, guys. That's season 4 of my team sim. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I will start preparing season 5 for you guys. It is done and dusted, so I will start putting that together probably tomorrow, and then I can have it out to you guys maybe the day after that. So I hope you enjoyed it. A definite progress made. It's going to be very interesting next season because we are so high up there on the performance chart. So I look forward to it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.